Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Shekhar joins me as we take head on this breaking news about the Dharmasthala case. And let's first welcome Shekhar and I'll give you a small preamble because I've done one hangout yesterday. There's much more that has happened in the last 26 hours. And with that, after that, I'll give Shekhar the baton and he will be able to walk us through all the new developments. These are stunning developments. Let's welcome Shekhar first. Shekhar namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, Sree namaskar. Sir, there is a saying in Hindi, शिकारी शिकार बन गया. Yani the hunter has become the hunted now.
Yes, very true, very
Along
true.
with him, the accomplices may be now haunted also, because what the story is turning is what is supposed to be most horrible crimes which happened.
Sir, if you don't mind, give a small preamble and then I'll give some build up, because I have just listened to a Kannada conversation where Sujata Bhatt has confessed that Ananya Bhatt is all fictional. We are giving the link also to your viewers in reference links. It's got English subtitles. You can watch that also. Sir, if you don't mind, just give a preamble and then I will take 2-3 minutes, sir.
No, well, this is what I'm saying. You see,
go ahead, sir. Yeah.
This a masked character has been around for last 2 weeks. You know, taking a bunch of policemen, people operating excavators, JCT machines, digging up places he was pointing to, where supposedly more than 80 to 100, mostly women and girls who were subjected to sexual exploitation, were supposed to be buried along the banks of the river 𝗟𝗡𝗏 in Dharmasthala. And he said he was a sanitation worker working in connection with the temple, and he was doing this job. He was asked to bury some of the bodies of who were rape victims, who were probably murdered after sexual assault. So this story gripped headlines everywhere. And this man's identity was disclosed. It was not disclosed, and he even appeared before a court and gave an affidavit saying that this was sometime in July first week. After that, immediately within 10 days, Siddaramaiah government constituted a special investigation team. That team, along with this masked man, he led the cops through various spots saying, here lies a body, here lies a body. But they kept on digging. They dug more than 17 sites. At least in one site, they got some bones. And he said this was a place where, a woman was raped and buried. But those bones were subjected to forensic test, and what came out was it was not a woman, it was some man. So that suspicion grew because they were spending a lot of money. And incidentally, the special investigation team carried highly sophisticated technology, the ground radars. But nothing came out. Now, along with that was the previous disclosure that you were mentioning, where a woman, Sujata Bhatt, who claimed her daughter Ananya was studying for MBBS in Manipal, went missing, and she is among those who were raped and killed and buried there. Now you can tell us, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So, viewers, what is Dharmasthala? Dharmasthala is a trust. It's a very popular, it's a well-to-do organization. See, what is unique about it, you need to understand, viewers, if you don't already know. Virendra Hegde is actually a Jain. And he is managing the trust, and the Murti there is a Shiva, Manjunatha. But you know who does the puja there? It is Madhva Brahmins, who are actually Vaishnavites. You see how in Sanatana Dharma, 3 different arms are coming together, and that is what makes Dharmasthala so special. So these are all some of the things which somebody has deliberately planned and taken aim at. And as far as Sujata Bhatt's thing is concerned, what she said, and I'll just give you, it's 11-minute interview, but I'll give you in 1 or 2 minutes. What she said was she claimed she had a daughter, but that she was advised to claim so if she wanted to get some property that her grandfather had deeded it to a temple. Nothing to do with Dharmasthala. That part where she was asked to say that she had a daughter was so that she would get the claim to the fortune. Now, who suggested this? A sub-inspector by the name of Girish Mattanawar, and another person called 𝗤𝗘𝗙𝗧𝗐. Now, this Girish character is a police officer, and he has a checkered, controversial past. He has finally been, exonerated by the court, but there are some questions there. Was he giving this out of the goodness of his heart? Why would a policeman be giving legal advice? That's the first question that you'll be asking. So that Sujata Bhatt story, I think, is over. She has given an unconditional apology to the people of Karnataka, to all the Sanatanis, especially to Virendra Hegdeji and the Dharmasthala stud. So she has come clean. Now let's go back to why I had hinted this in my previous video here, that it is pointing to this fellow called Sasikanth Sendil, who was the back-end guy, along with Sunil Kanugolu, was a front-end guy who engineered the victory for Congress. He was an IAS officer, he got in under scheduled caste category. He quit in 2019 when Article 370 and CAA, Article 370 was repealed and CAA was enacted. That's when he quit. And then after that, he has been in active politics. He joined Congress, and then his work led to the victory of Congress in Karnataka, and he was rewarded by an MP seat in a place called Tiruvallur in Tamil Nadu. The guy won it because the DMK front swept the complete state polls. Now, why are people pointing? It is believed during some of the years that the whistleblower said, it is believed that he was working there, and he has had very anti-Hindu stance, and he has been a very bitter critic. What is also suspicious is some of the people, and again, this is something that is very difficult to prove, but some of the people are saying that this person is a Catholic, practicing Catholic. Now, you have to understand that this is just still preliminary, and actually Shekhar-ji has many more new details that have come beyond that. I'm sorry, sir, it took me a little bit longer than I thought, but this is the important thing. There is much more coming out. Over to you, sir.
Well, sir, the story is, so far is, this digging that was going on, and this masked man, both in rain and shine, pointing to spots, and the entire team, SIT team, accompanied by its chief and other engineers and people, people holding those ground radars. Government of Karnataka has been literally taken for a ride along the banks of the river Netravati, and they have spent a lot of money for this, because his disclosure is claimed that he had to, and he appeared before a magistrate, as I mentioned, and he said he was coming out now after 20 years because his conscience did not permit him to remain silent anymore. But what is coming out now is, what 20 years? He moved to Karnataka only in April this year. And then this whole story of his, being a sanitation worker there between, from 2005 to 14, that story has fallen first. And second thing is, all this digging just resulted in some bones in one spot of the 18 spots. And they were and he said here was a woman. I buried a woman here. And that turned out to be a man, number one. Number two, sir, this lady Sujata Bhatt, she told the cops that she is a former CBI stenographer. And the SIT checked up with the CBI, and they said they had nobody of that name in their rolls. Then, of course, the third thing that you just mentioned, that this Ananya Bhatt, who was a daughter, now she had told it Republic Kannada channel just a day ago that, look, she's not my daughter, she's my friend's daughter. Now, who is this friend's daughter? Then she mentioned somebody who actually gave her a job as a cook and a caretaker in their home. So all these stories about CBI stenographer, being a CBI stenographer, her daughter studying in Manipal. So there were too many stories and too many contradictions. So at the moment as we are speaking, SID is taking that lady also into custody. Sir, just a day ago, they arrested a YouTuber one MD Sameer, who also, who has already obtained a pre-arrest bail. He has been asked to appear before SIT tomorrow. And there has been a concerted attempt. And the other thing that is coming out is 4 people, apart from Sujata Bhatt, and this person, masked man, has now been identified as C.N. Chinnaya. And he has his residence somewhere close to the Satyamangalam forest. And staying with him is one Christian priest named 𝗟𝗔𝗚𝗏. And 𝗟𝗔𝗚𝗏 seems to be indulging in conversions in that area. And they sometime in June, they all traveled, 4 of them. There are 2 more characters whose identification, confirmation is still going on. They traveled to Delhi and they met a political figure. At the moment, probably investigators are not saying who they are. And number 2, and also a lawyer to guide them how they should go about this. So what has happened is, since last 24 hours, the first person to come out and say, look, these are the characters involved is none other than one of the Bellary brothers. That is Janardhan Reddy. And it was Janardhan Reddy, Gali Janardhan Reddy, who mentioned the name of the Congress MP and former Dakshina Kannada Deputy Commissioner 𝗪𝗓𝗍𝗫 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗙, saying that this is a conspiracy to defame Dharmasthala. If the Karnataka government does not investigate this, and if it does not question Senthil, then he will file an appeal in the court. And he will seek a NIA or a CBI investigation. Now that started changing the story. And quickly Senthil also reacted to the allegation made by Janardhan Reddy, saying that unnecessarily his name is being dragged. And if Gali Janardhan Reddy is targeting me because I was assistant commissioner during that period in Ballari when the illegal mining cases were investigation, so that is why I am being targeted. So Sashikant Senthil's name has been openly mentioned by Gali Janardhan Reddy. Sir, interestingly, when this thing started, this digging business started, there was an outrage all over Karnataka. People are wondering, Dharmasthala, and as you mentioned, it's an ancient temple which has been managed hereditarily by a Jain family. And the Dharmadhikari there is the Virendra Hegde, who is a well-known social worker. They function like NGOs. There are several schemes for women. There are several schemes for disputes, for youth. Several schemes are happening there. So why this place has been targeted? So when the outrage happened, BJP took up the issue. So the first person to respond to this was Siddaramaiah himself. He said, look, I have my doubts. Why is this person coming, the so-called whistleblower whose name was not disclosed then? Why is he coming after 20 years to come and make this allegation? Anyway, we have set up SIT. Now, there is another person who has said something, sir, which is there is a Congress MLA who says that this is actually, there is some problem within that group. That is one Vinay Sorake. He says there is a battle going on within the right-wing groups, and this right-wing group and the decibel level of this whole controversy is being encouraged by groups owing allegiance to ultra-left, radical left, and left groups. And apparently, some organizations which are interested in trying to, who feel that the influence of Dharmasthala, the shrine and the kshetra, in their conversion targets, they are also, wanting to play this up. And another counter story was that since this Virendra Hegde and the family that runs this temple, they are so powerful, they will scuttle investigation. But here story is different. Because when the SIT was set up, Virendra Hegde went on record to say he welcomes investigation. So there was no question of anybody scuttling investigation. Sir, because this story is taking a turn, and with Congress leadership realizing, the state leadership, not the central leadership, because if the some of the people involved are very close to Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, and Priyanka Gandhi, and we all know 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪𝗀𝗃 himself is a very powerful person there. If his name is being alleged by Janardhan Reddy, so now, but at least Siddharamaiah and D.K. Shivkumar can sense at the Karnataka level that this controversy is damaging Congress. That Congress is seen as Congress leadership, Congress government, in hand in gloves with those who are out to discredit well-established Hindu shrines, Hindu organizations with a purpose. And Virendra Hegde is a member of Rajya Sabha, upper house. But since he is seen as very close to the top BJP leadership, including Prime Minister Modi, they thought that they should be targeted. It's another matter, Virendra Hegde's brother and the family who run the trust. There have been some issues, some controversies like any big place would have. But to bring in this in a hope that, they can somehow create distrust and, a loss of faith among the devotees who go there, that seems to be the purpose. Now, sir, interestingly, now those names that are coming now. So D.K. Shivkumar said, right from early this morning, before the arrest was announced of the whistleblower, they have not mentioned what charges, but he was produced before the court and he was given 10 days, the SIT was given 10 days custody. So D.K. Shivkumar today said, yes, we suspect conspiracy. That's why we arrested him. Now BJP is talking of conspiracy. But the fact is, this conspiracy angle has been in the air ever since is all this, for the way the search and operation, search and dam operation, looking for pieces of bones. Sir, he mentioned 80 to 100.
Correct.
And 80 to 100 you do, and I don't think any person with a conscience which will only wake up after 20 years after being a witness to such a gruesome act or being an accomplice also is unimaginable. And now the way the story is turning, questions are going to be asked. If they have traveled to Delhi, why did they travel to Delhi? Why did Sujata Bhatt cook up the story of being a daughter so that to give some currency? Sir, whoever has been dead there, nobody knows. They did not furnish any details of the dead. There was no mention of who are the victims who have been buried, or even to trace the identities of the so-called victims who were buried. So therefore, the Sujata Bhatt's claim gained a lot of currency because she said, here is my daughter, and she showed a photograph of a girl. In the meantime, sir, people took to streets, several Hindu organizations, and also finally BJP also decided to go full blast on this issue. So three things were happening. One, it was going on the social media campaign to discredit Dharmasthala. Another, to show that how the state government is acting on the complaints and has set up an SIT. And the third thing we are seeing is somehow Congress wants to get out of the blame that would come on them for encouraging this in the first place, and spending so much of money. So the whole story is now turning full circle. Sir, basically, there is lack of evidence to substantiate the claims. So the question is, why the claims were made in the first place? The Karnataka government has realized there is a huge negative publicity. And without evidence being there, with every passing day, they realize that this is going to hit the Congress. Sir, always there has been apprehension that whenever Congress comes to power in Karnataka, the Islamist forces, this kind of conversion groups, in the name of secularism, they gain strength. Because the focus is on then, the police are under pressure to act on so-called Hindu extremists. But this story, sir, has completely turned, I would say, full circle now. That's why I said, शिकार मतलब शिकारी अभी शिकार हो गया है. You know, the hunter is now the hunted. Sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And we will see how this thing plays out. The person that they are supposed to have met, again, somebody is commenting here. We'll have to double check that. We will wait till we get confirmation. Maybe there'll be, another follow up on this one in the next couple of days. Shekhar ji will be back on Wednesday. We can pick it up then also. So we'll see how it plays out. Sir, then let's take the next topic, which is the new US ambassador. If it was just an individual, even if he's a Trump loyalist, everybody would have said that's fine. But this guy is a special envoy to South Asia region, and I think South Asia and plus something else also. So this guy is wearing multiple. Sir,
special envoy of South and Central Asia affairs.
Yes. Sergio Gor, and he's actually a Russian American. His Gor is a longer one, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 or something like that. Shekhar ji, this is again, in my opinion, another attempt to hyphenate India with Pakistan and try to say that, he's just not your ambassador, but he also has responsibility for this, and this. How do you see it, sir?
So, well, sir, his announcement, Trump himself called him a great friend and that he has been appointed US ambassador. This was after US Secretary of State Marco Rubio made the announcement. And Trump called him, a great friend and all that. So immediately, the think tanks in India and people, foreign policy analysts and experts saw it as another act by Trump administration to squeeze India. In the sense because Sergio Gor, who is just 38 years old, he has no diplomatic experience, excepting that in the last few months, he has been overseeing some of the intelligence agencies and has been, vetting the inputs for the president. Apart from that, nothing. But he's known, as you said, sir, as a Trump loyalist. And the other part, he made news because Elon Musk named him called him a snake and blamed him for his, fallout with Trump. So that is one thing. And sir, he was born in Uzbekistan, and then from there he moved to Malta. He was born in Uzbekistan when Uzbekistan was part of the USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. So he was born in that era, and in 1999, when he was 12, he was located to US. That's about his background. But what we do know is that he was part of that team. Rather, he threw 4,000, he reviewed all those 4,000 people who were employed, who were considered as excess labor, which were draining US government of its funds. So that is how he reviewed over 4,000 appointments. So the whole idea is he is coming with a kind of a message from Trump to use pressure as a tactics, not just on India, but and also on Central Asia and South Asia. Now, Central Asia, because of his own Uzbek background, whether it is Afghanistan, and that would mean Pakistan, it would mean Iran, and of course India. Sir, in the last few days, what have we seen? We have seen Trump trying to tell India, look, if you're not willing to do what I want you to do, then I'll get more friendly with Pakistan, including dining with Pakistan's Field Marshal, Asif Munir, and who, I would say that who decided to even threaten a nuclear holocaust from American soil. And the beginning itself is such, with the kind of reputation he has, Sergio Gor will start, I would say, that a person who has not been a diplomat, but who is coming here not as a troubleshooter, but as a person who will carry out Trump's fiat, which is to blow hot and cold, and somehow expect Indian government and particularly the Prime Minister Modi to succumb to such pressures, whether it is a question of tariff or India's dealings with China and Russia. So therefore, many people are saying that this is going to be difficult for those who are critical of Prime Minister in this country, in India. They expect that this is bad news for Modi. That Sergio will increase pressure on India, will increase pressure. That the other thing that is doing the social media, sir, that Rahul Gandhi did not have to even go to US. He has just to walk into the US embassy for any George Soros kind of operation against Modi. This is doing the rounds, on the lighter side. But yes, it's a choice that has not inspired confidence here because the kind of reputation Sergio has. So therefore, sir, but what is going to actually happen? Because come August 27th, you're going to see the deadline, that's a Trump set deadline for imposing that additional 25% tariff for buying Russian oil. But on the issue of Russian oil, we have seen India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, travel to Moscow, met Putin, and since then he has been addressing the media in Moscow, where he has very openly criticized Trump's policy of, playing double standards, not taking action on countries who are actually buying and using Russian oil, allowing Europe to buy Russian gas and not taking any action on China. Sir, interestingly, China has responded very, very favorably to India. In the sense, you had the Chinese foreign minister here in Delhi a day ago. He met the Prime Minister, basically preparing the ground for Prime Minister's travel to Russia for the BRICS summit. So one can see that this meeting that will happen between Russia, China, and in India at that level. So you are going to see a lot of, I would say, a lot of convergence of interest of Russia, China, and India, which may not be much to Trump's yay. And he's also visiting Japan, and Modi will also be going to China. So a lot of things are happening. This is going to be an August of, I would say, great churning in terms of India's foreign relations, in terms of firming up strategy to face a new situation created by President Trump. Of course, there is still a lot of optimism about outcome of President Trump and President Putin's meeting in Alaska, and which was followed by President Zelensky of Ukraine traveling to Washington, meeting other European leaders, and then there are going to be another meeting, rather a tripartite meeting, which will involve Trump, Zelensky, and Putin. And if there is some kind of a solution, perhaps this whole issue of buying Russian oil, because then the Trump has promised lifting of sanctions on Russia. That's a deal. And of course, Ukraine is finding it very difficult to swallow the formula that Trump is offering, which is basically a status quo on the borders, whichever areas Russia has occupied, apart from Crimea, the entire eastern Ukraine, that will be held with, will continue to be with the Russians, and no NATO membership for Ukraine, and no US soldiers on ground in Ukraine, and European security will be guaranteed by US, and Europe itself will take care of Ukraine security without the NATO banner. Now, these are the formula which Zelensky has been saying that this is not politically acceptable for him or for his countrymen. So we are seeing a scenario where there are a lot of uncertainties, lot of importance. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, a lot of developments indeed. And now let's take a look at the next topic. Sir, once in a while, just around elections, the BJP has been known to up the corruption ante. So I have a different perspective on Anil Ambani's ED raids. First, you share your thoughts, sir, and I'll tell you what my perspective is on this one.
So the big question that has come, with government moving the 130th Amendment, constitutional amendment.
Yeah.
Well, the amendment itself is that, as we all know, that tainted datas, if they are arrested and if they are holding posts, that is any member of parliament or a MLA or a chief minister or a minister, why? Even prime minister, if he is convicted of a crime and that carries a punishment of say 5 years, but if he is arrested on the initial charge and if he cannot obtain a bail, he can stay in jail, but if he cannot obtain a bail within 30 days, on the 31st day, if he remains in jail without any relief from courts, then automatically he'll cease to hold that position, whether he's chief minister, prime minister, union minister, or anything. And also, if he gets bail later, he can return back. So there are two conditions. For 30 days, if he does not want to give up on his own, he is not willing to resign on moral grounds, he can try for 30 days to get a bail. Now the introduction of the bill, we saw, I would say, a lot of violence, I would call it, in terms of parliamentary standards, because you saw members trying to snatch the bill, members tearing it up and flinging it when Amit Shah was presenting it, and a lot of opposition saying this is all out to create problems for the governments, opposition governments in West Bengal, in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala. But the fact is, sir, this is a constitutional amendment bill. It needs 2/3 of the members present and voting for it. Otherwise, it cannot become law. So what was opposition so worried about? And with Trinamool leaders saying they will not even participate in further deliberation of these bills, because now the bills will be moved to a joint committee of parliament, joint parliamentary committee. And Trinamool is not agreeing with other opposition leaders who are saying, look, we cannot avoid participating. Then it would appear we are not supporting probity in public life. Now the question is, why this bill? Well, the government's explanation, which I find is quite important to consider, that you had a chief minister, 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗅 Kejriwal, refusing to quit the post after he did not get relief either in the lower court, in the CBI court, or in the Delhi High Court, or in the Supreme Court. And the courts threw up their hands saying, look, we refusing him bail because of the kind of evidence brought to us, but we cannot force a politician to quit his post as chief minister. Similarly, in Senthil Balaji case, Senthil Balaji was there more than 15 months. And sir, in Senthil Balaji case, what happened? He did not get bail in the lower court, in the Madras High Court, then in Supreme Court. And Supreme Court made it clear you cannot get the bail till you remain a minister, because the prosecuting agency says that the agency says that so long as he is a minister, he will intimidate witnesses, because when he comes out. So Supreme Court took a view, if you want bail, you quit as a minister. So Senthil Balaji resigned, got the bail, and the next day he was again made a minister by Chief Minister Stalin, making a mockery of it. That means there was a time in this country, moment a first charge is made or a case is made, the politician usually took the view that they would step down, because there would be public outcry. How can anybody function once they are put in jail? But Arvind Kejriwal gave us lectures on democracy, saying for the sake of democracy, he doesn't want to quit and he wants to be in jail and function as CM. And then when did he quit as CM? When he was released on bail, Supreme Court put some conditions that we will release you on bail, but you can't attend the office of the chief minister. The official files cannot come to you. Then he realized even getting the bail is no use, so he resigned. which was made out as a grand sacrifice, and he put 𝗏𝗍𝗍 in his place. But that itself became an election issue, and we all know what happened to Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi elections. Similarly, there was a case of Satinder Jain, who was a jail minister inside Tihar jail. And there were videos and showing how he was getting the best of comfort, best of food, not just the home food, best of other food also. So the whole idea which the government takes is, look, because there are politicians who are not willing to quit. And my whole point is, even this, if they get a bail, they can return. That itself is not, it's not a big deal. But yet, even at this level, sir, very interesting part. After the bills were introduced, Priyanka called it draconian. Rahul Gandhi echoed it further, forgetting that in 2013, what had happened? When Supreme Court said anybody convicted of 2 years, and particularly in a corruption case, they will immediately lose their seat in parliament or in state legislature, which means they would have to quit. Even if the conviction is at the lowest court level, there is no question of waiting for an appeal till the highest. So Manmohan Singh government thought of an ordinance. And Rahul Gandhi publicly ridiculed Manmohan Singh for cabinet approving such an ordinance. And you saw he come to the Press Club of India in Delhi and tore up that ordinance. And today, the other day in Gandhi Maidan, he was seen hugging Lalu Prasad Yadav. Between 2013 and 2025, Rahul Gandhi's views on corruption has changed. The last 12 years, today he thinks this provision is draconian, whereas on that day he tore up an ordinance which wanted to say that these MPs or MLAs need not quit till they have their last court of appeal has decided their case. But the kind of reaction is coming that this is all out to topple government. But why are they so scared? Sir, in all there are 12 ministers in the opposition ruled states who are under investigation. The narrative that they are setting is that NIA, CBI, IED, IT, they are after opposition leaders, opposition chief ministers, opposition ministers. But this law says, the draft law proposes what? It says, if you are accused of a crime which carries 5 years per punishment minimum, then there is an automatically you quit. How do you automatically quit? The law empowers the president, the governor, or the lieutenant governor, as the case may be, to declare that person is out of office. My grouse with this law is, sir, this is the least that you have done. This is not the least that you can do. You should simply say anybody facing charge will have to quit till they are cleared. And already there are fast track courts to deal with cases of MPs and MLAs. No, this is an abuse of power. Then the police will become powerful. I have seen write-ups. This is taking the matter from the court and giving it to prosecuting agencies. So the ruling government will use the police against opposition. But my fundamental question, sir, is it such a draconian measure? See, look at so many loopholes in this very law. First, you are given 30 days to remain in office to see whether you can get bail, either lower court, high court, or Supreme Court. And we have seen, all these opposition lawyers hire opposition leaders hire very influential lawyers, pay exorbitant fees to get bail. Number one. Number two, the offenses should be accused of such an offense which carries 5 years or more present term. Number three, if after quitting they get bail, they can come back till they are acquitted or convicted. Now, this itself has generated so much. That is why, sir, after these bills were introduced with a lot of hangama, and in the course of the debate, Congress General Secretary 𝗟𝗚𝗏 𝗍𝗘𝗏, who is a member of Parliament, he raised the issue. He said, "What is this? There was this 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗏 murder case against Amit Shah, and you stayed in office when this came." But that was not true. Amit Shah immediately countered. He says, "Moment CBI wanted to arrest me, I quit as Minister of State for Home in Gujarat." And also, the courts asked him not to be present in Gujarat. He was asked to go out of Gujarat so that the CBI will have a free hand to deal with the case. And finally, he was acquitted. Sir, this fear, and using this fear to make out that something is being done against them only. And when you see, sir, on a principle, they have brought. Prime Minister Modi wants to reload this campaign against corruption ahead of these assembly elections, because corruption is a main issue in all the states, whether it is West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, or Kerala. Well, the
and
Congress,
Bihar. Or maybe not Bihar.
Bihar is this November. Yes, Bihar is this November. And sir, Congress is also trying to make allegation against the Assam Chief Minister, because Assam is also going to polls along with these states I mentioned. So now the corruption agenda is back, in the sense that with this constitutional amendment, which Stalin is saying, no, this is all against us. Sir, this is, in fact, it's a very amusing sight to see opposition leaders pleading for protection against prosecution in corruption case. Because they are in the opposition, then they should not be prosecuted. If they are prosecuted, it is political vendetta. It's a vindictive action. So corruption is not on the agenda of opposition. Very strange, sir. When BJP was in the opposition, BJP used corruption as a tool against Congress, with a tremendous effect and impact. Sir.
Thank you so much, Shekharji. I have one question before we go to the last topic for today. In the Sendil Balaji bail case, could the Supreme Court have put restrictions that you cannot be a minister because you just gave up that?
Sir, they took the view when this was the plea of the petitioner. The Supreme Court said there is nothing in the law that enables us to tell a minister to quit his job if he is in jail, if he are refusing bail. This is the position Madras High Court also took. Sendil Balaji case, Supreme Court took the view in Arvind Kejriwal's case as well as this case. Because there was a plea to Supreme Court that you should direct Arvind Kejriwal quit as CM. You can't function from Tihar jail. Supreme Court said, we leave it to the accused to decide. This is an issue of political morality that you will have to decide.
Sir, some ministers don't know what that word means, sir. It's not in their lexicon.
Sir, I mean, this is what we can say is that, no longer they feel that they owe it to the public. At least, even there is not even a semblance of a gesture.
Yes.
To show that they stand for transparency. Sir, take the Jain Hawala case, sir. Lal Krishna Advani ji quit his post. He said he will not accept any post, he will not contest elections till his name was cleared. But today what you see is that completely different story happening. Sir.
To be corrupt is our birthright. That seems to be the message here. Sir, let's go to the last topic for today. That is that there is extortion going on in Gujarat in the name of Gaza. Sir, a few minutes on this and then we'll go to Q&A.
Sir, a Syrian national has been arrested in Ahmedabad. He and his team, they have been extorting money from mosques in Gujarat. And it seems to be he and there were 3 other Syrians. And what the Ahmedabad police are saying is they were running a kind of a campaign to collect funds for the Gaza victims. But and they were also, police suspect that the way they came and stayed there and going to the different mosques in the city and asking for money and threatening them also. So finally, and they realized that these people were spending a lot of money and staying in, in posh areas and posh lifestyle, and they were staying in a hotel. And what we know now is the persons arrested are one 𝗤𝗏𝗄𝗏. He's just 23. He has been arrested from a hotel in Ellisbridge. And all these suspects are Syrians. And the others who were identified is 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪 𝗔𝗔, Ahmed Albash, and Yusuf al-Alzar. Now, this is a very, very new case, sir. And what they found is they had more than $3,000 in cash, and they could catch only one Syrian, but lookout notice has been issued. It seems these 4 Syrians came to India on a tourist visa, and they landed in Kolkata on July 22nd, and then they reached Ahmedabad on August 2nd. And what they were doing was they were approaching local mosques, seeking donations, showing videos of starving people in Gaza, and they have been authorized to collect funds for providing food to needy people. But there was no sign of them, collecting money and sending it to people there. So obviously, their activity came under surveillance. The Gujarat's anti-terrorism squad and NIA also, got it. And what is alarming for the authorities is this is the beginning of probably more groups operating in different states, trying to extort, because in the sense they were using the sympathy factor, but probably they were also prepared to use arm twisting methods also. Sree Iyer.
Let's take some questions now, sir.
Sir.
Vijay Kumar wants to know why Trump government appointed new ambassador Mr. Gor for India. Any chance of change? I think we discussed this. I think we can skip this one. Vijay Kumar again. Modi ji trip to Bihar and Bengal and directly showed deep concerns about demography. Will it affect elections in West Bengal? Namaskar, sir.
Yes, sir. This was an issue in Jharkhand elections also. And the Prime Minister, when he addressed from Red Fort, also mentioned about how infiltration, particularly in tribal-dominated areas, to capture lands owned by tribals through deceit is a serious problem. Sir, in Jharkhand, the opposition, that is Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and Congress, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, which was in power, the road on what was then described as a sympathy way for Hemant Soren, because he was put in jail by ED. Now, particularly in Bengal and in Assam, already you have seen the Hemant Biswa Sharma government has gone on a crackdown. They have even decided not to issue any further Aadhars, because there are gangs operating in Assam, in West Bengal, in Bihar, in the border areas. Border with Bangladesh, where for a payment of say 5,000 rupees, they organize the Aadhar card, they organize voter card, they organize PAN card. That is why all this halabulla about SIR, special intensive revision in Bihar. Now, what the Prime Minister has announced from Red Fort is, and which he mentioned it in Parliament also, is to go for a demographic commission. This demographic commission will consist of, I am told, with very senior jurists and people with legal background, as to evolve a system where first we can identify foreigners, where the infiltration taking place, what are the reasons, and how to check it. Now, in West Bengal, this has already become a big issue. And Mamata is worried that this will affect her voters. This was same Mamata prior to 2011 was accusing the CPM government of encouraging infiltration, illegal migration, and making them as their voters. The same pattern Mamata has continued. Sir, there may be a human story to why people are coming, why there is influx. But it is raising questions because there are agencies in our neighboring country who are pushing people Because everybody talked about Bangladesh growth story. If there was a Bangladesh growth story in the last few years, why and more people are coming here for economic reasons? And in different parts of the country, there are a lot of people who have come from that part of from Bangladesh who have acquired some new identity because they want to remain here. Now, at least these people should not be in our electoral rolls. Because then what happens is our electoral process will get vitiated. Because there are opposition parties who claim that it is their first right to have foreigners as their voters. If you have seen how they reacted to SIR, they questioned how can election commission remove foreigners. Election commission is not deciding who has citizenship or not. At least it is empowered by the constitution to ensure that the voters are from the voters list. I mean, they are Indian citizens because only Indian citizens above the age of 18 can vote. That's what constitutional mandate to the election commission. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Sai Raghavan wants to know, this Dharmasthala thing makes me wonder if that masked man had a bet with his friends to get wells dug by the government. Next one, please. Krishnamurthy wants to know, Siddaramaiah is very close to Sonia. Are missionary-backed groups with powerful support driving narratives that target Hindus, Dharmasthala now, earlier Sadhguru? The pattern is hard to ignore.
Sir, there is a pattern. I mean, we will have to admit it. There is a pattern. But then, if that pattern is encouraged by any political party, it comes with huge political costs. That Siddaramaiah, 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪 Congress government has realized. Otherwise, they wouldn't have arrested this whistleblower. And masking him, hiding his identity. And if it is now turning out this guy does not belong to Karnataka, has visited Dharmasthala for the first time in April, and he was making a tall claim he was a sanitation worker in Dharmasthala from 2005 to 2014. Then he had then his conscience 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗡. Now his conscience has woken up. This cock and bull story, with the revelation of this story and government taking it seriously, now the question will come. What made the Siddaramaiah 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪 government to set up an SIT?
Yeah.
Merely on the basis of somebody's claim. And even while after setting up the SIT, they keep an escape clause by Siddaramaiah saying, no, we cannot believe him because, why was he silent for 20 years? Nevertheless, we want to go to the bottom of it. Literally, they went to the bottom of it. And found
the irony is the Supreme Court will listen to cases that are 40 plus years old, but won't listen to cases that are only 30 years old. You can connect the dots.
Sir, but one thing is happening, sir. Today, Hindu groups in Karnataka, there is a sense of apprehension among many voters of Karnataka that whenever Congress comes to power, there are groups which target Hindu institutions or institutions of the Sanatan Dharma. And Dharmasthala is a unique temple, sir, by itself, because this is one temple, which is a Shiva temple, which is run by a Jain family under hereditary practice. And therefore, and also, sir, what has happened is they have found, there are people who are saying the whole idea, they feel that Dharmasthala, the temple management, they have made a monetary evaluation, they command over 2,000 crore worth of resources, be it land or, structures and all that. And they feel if they can create a dent in the public perception, then it will be easier for these groups to operate in the area because the Dharmasthala Kshetra itself, they are running NGOs. And they have come to place. Prime Minister had visited the shrine.
So one place that is very rich in NGOs, you want to take a guess of how many NGOs are there in Tamil Nadu, sir? Just that one state.
Well, Tamil Nadu has been, high in the radar of this conversion business. And consequently, because of the law that says If you convert, you lose your 𝗓𝗔 status. So you have a lot of crypto Christians, they don't disclose that because they would lose that status.
Sir, the number is 23,000. The number of NGOs in Tamil Nadu alone, 23,000.
And if the NGOs, so if 23,000 NGOs were actually at work, they could provide really relief. But then obviously, of course, sir, with the tightening of the FCRA rules, these NGOs have found it difficult to operate. That's why
They have found other ways, sir. Sir, they have found other ways, sir. For example, what they have done is, in the same address, there will be a new letterpad company that says it's creating software. And this software is created, distributed, paid for by foreign companies, and they pay even the GST on it. You see what's going on?
But one thing, sir, after FCRA has been tightened, that is why they are so angry with Prime Minister Modi, is that it is not so easier to get funds directly to the NGOs as earlier. Because then they have to show audit, they have to show compliance, and every year they have to renew their license. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Suresh Kumar wants to know, does the new bill automatically nullify their credentials as MLAs and MPs if they don't get relief?
Yes, it does. That is the provision of the bill, that if on the 31st day, if they haven't got bail, they cease to hold those posts. The president, the governor, or the lieutenant governor, as the case may be, may issue a communique and declare them that that post is vacant.
Next one, please. Milburn wants to know, there's nothing we can say to people who love the Congress for years. What is the solution?
We can. That is why, sir. Yesterday I was listening to the Bengal BJP president. He was saying, look, the left and the Congress are working together. But in West Bengal, they don't want to declare their love in public. So in Prime Minister presence, he said, "Pyar kiya to darna kya? Why should left and Congress appear that in Bengal they are fighting? Agar pyar kiya to openly karo. Show your affection for each other. Public display of affection is a in thing these days, PDA. So why you are playing this? You want to show you are having that left is battling Mamata and Mamata is battling left. Whereas in Delhi, they are all together. So he asked, प्यार किया तो डरना क्या है? खुल के बताओ, you are in alliance. Similarly, in Kerala also. In Kerala also.
Yes. Very, very interesting stuff, sir. I hope that justice gets done to the Dharmasthala Foundation. This is very, very eerie. 20 years ago, 𝗏𝗙𝗏 Math also was brought under tremendous amount of pressure. Again, there are other Hindu institutions that have been brought under such pressure. Sir, even somebody was saying that the food that Akshay Patra was serving did not have onion, and therefore they made it a big deal. And then no egg is being provided. I mean, these people are being paid to try and find all these things. People, this kind of food won't last you. This kind of thing that you get from doing these kinds of stuff, I'm sorry. This is not the way our Dharma teaches us. Anyway, sir, I can go on a rant if on the drop of a hat. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again on Wednesday. Namaskar.
Namaskar.